Welcome to the show, Sports Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, 265, iHeartRadio. We have the one and only Dayna Madison joining me here on the show here tonight. Dayna, how's it going?
It's going good. How's it going over there?
It's going pretty well. Same old stuff, just every night, keeping going with the shows here. How's everything musically
Yeah.
for you today and just as of recently?
Music. Hold on. I gotta take a sip of my sangria. Mm, Everything is great musically. I just had a song come out
Penny
on the
pinching.
16th. Yes, Penny
Yeah.
Pinching, and it's definitely a bop. It's definitely a bop.
Now, for the people that don't know you or just starting to get to know you now, or even your fans that you've made already, what are you trying to get across with this song, Penny Pinching? Because there's a certain message to it when you look at the definition of penny pinching. That's the unwillingness to spend.
Exactly. And that's exactly the message that I'm trying to get across, what not to do with a woman. So penny pinching, like one of the main lines for the song is, if you want a dime, you can't be doing no penny pinching. Time costs money, can you spend it? So it's one of those songs where it's pretty much to empower women and to kind of make men get on their P's and Q's, get on their shit. So that's the message I'm trying to portray with that one.
In your journey thus far in your career, what would you say is the most important thing, time or money?
Honestly, at this point, I think time. I
Mm.
think if you spend the time and if you spend your time wisely, the money will come, But you can't you can't just not put in the work, and put in the effort and the time. So yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you on that. I want to get all the way
Yeah.
into the backstory here. Tell me where you grew up and all about your background.
Okay, so I grew up in a smallish kind of city in on the border of LA and Orange County called La Mirada.
Okay.
And it's about like 30 minutes from downtown LA and like 30 minutes from like deep in Orange County, like Irvine, where I am right now. And I grew up there and then I lived in Memphis, Tennessee for a while. So I got a bit of a culture shock from Orange County to Memphis. But yeah, now I'm back here making music, dancing still, and yeah.
Mhm. How would you rate as far as LA on the music scene? Because I know people always tend to go to Atlanta or even New York, but would you say that LA is underrated in a way because Atlanta's just become such a powerhouse?
I don't think LA is underrated really. I just think it's very different than say Atlanta or other
Mm.
other places like that, because here you're gonna get a different type of talent than you would get in Atlanta. Like, yeah, you have a lot of talent and a lot of rappers and people that just want to be famous in some places, but here is like the mecca of all the talent that you can get, really. So I don't think anything compares to LA
No, I
personally.
agree with you on that. What would you say was the most
Yeah.
valuable connection you made early on in your career throughout your time in LA? Because I know, like you mentioned before, there's so many talents out there, and I've
Mhm.
spoken to many artists before from LA, and they say they could bump into CEO of some label at some party or just going out into
Right.
some random place. So, what was the most important connection you think you made throughout your career in LA?
To be honest with you, yeah, meeting like these big CEOs of this, that, and the third, these huge music people is really important. But I think one of the most meaningful connections that I made was to my manager. And because the way that we met, it was very organic and very just like unexpected. And the relationship that we have built over the 3 years that I've been doing music has put me in doors that I really never even thought that I would be in. So it is like those big huge CEOs and all those people, but I think it's more about the small relationships that get you to where you need to be. That's where you get your support from and like people that actually care about you. So
Mhm. And now here's a
yeah.
question in relating to the other one, time is money. Which one is more important? Because would you say
Hmm.
that it's talent and hard work, or is it luck when making it in the industry?
You know what? I think it's a little bit of both.
Mm.
I think it's a little bit of both. Talent and hard work, because sometimes those two don't go hand in hand. You can be super
No.
talented and not work hard, or you can be a hard worker and not be, as gifted or as blessed as some other artists. But luck, I feel like it has to be there every time. To be in the right place at the right time is not. It shouldn't be taken for granted.
Mhm. Was there ever a point early on in your journey where you noticed that luck wasn't coming to you? And when did you notice that if this was a thing that did occur, that you broke that barrier and you started to see some luck come in for you?
Um, so I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've been a dancer, like a classically trained dancer for most of my life. So since I was 3, all the way up until now.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so I'm 25 now. So I've had 22 years of experience doing that. And there would be times where I would do that and I would be so close to where I wanted to be. And then it just, got taken from me. But when it comes to music, I feel like I've been very blessed and been very lucky and been in the right place at the right time. So with music, I don't feel like I feel like I've been very blessed and lucky with that for sure.
What did
So
you
I haven't
feel
had
as
that.
though, because you mentioned your calling right now is music. So when did you find out that music was really your calling in addition to dancing?
So I think I always knew, like even from a very early age, like I want to be a performer. Like I want to be on stage and be like Beyonce. I want to do the singing, do the dancing, performing under the lights. I always knew that I wanted to do that, but it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I actually made that a reality. I had met my manager now, and he had asked me to come to the studio because he saw me on Instagram, and he was like, "Do you sing at all?" And I told him a little bit. So he had me come to the studio, and from that point on, we just kind of made magic in the music industry, and that's just where we stayed.
Hmm. Growing up, what would you
Yeah.
say was the main inspiration for you vocally as an artist?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure. I mean, there's so many. I think more than just like the singer, I really admired the entertainer. So like your Janet Jacksons, your Beyonce, and like now you have Doja, and you have people that are just performers at heart that can dance, they can sing, they can do all these things, and that's really where my inspiration lies.
I know people always ask the question, who do you want to work with? I know some of your inspirations right there. If you could take an underappreciated R&B artist or just any artist in general that you feel as though doesn't get that much spotlight that you would love to do a song together, who would it be?
Oh man, that's so hard because there's so many. Um, so I really love like R&B soul music and like neo soul, and not many people know of these couple artists, but there's an artist called Tom Misch. He's great, great on the guitar. And there's also Full Crate, amazing producer and DJ. And they're very underrated, but their music is so good and slaps. Obviously, I would love to have music with Beyonce, Doja Cat, all these amazing people, Megan Thee Stallion, all these people. But for the underappreciated artists, like those would definitely be some for
No,
sure.
definitely. It would open up a whole
Yeah.
new audience just to them and just, as you as well. So that's always interesting to see someone want to give back and highlight underappreciated artists in the game for sure. But are you working on an
Mhm.
album right now, debut?
I have so many songs that could be compiled into like an EP or an album, but I think at this moment, using my strategy to the best ability is really what I'm focusing on. Making good music and making those connections.
Mhm. I can tell from your songs that you always have a message behind them, especially with Penny Pinching, which we went over earlier. So, what would be the main message of an album that you would put out as your debut?
I think the main message would be like authenticity, because everyone has days where they feel like this or they feel like that. Like some days I feel like a bad bitch. Other days I feel like I'm like a simp. So I feel like it would be a compilation of all those different moods as a woman, how I feel. So yeah.
I know in this industry with the entertainment world and social media, everyone's always trying to be someone else in this game. And you spoke about authenticity right there and wanting to release that
Right.
in your new album. At some point, it is difficult because you can lose yourself. At what point did you really find yourself in this industry?
Um, I think I'm still finding. I
Mm.
think I'm still finding myself, and I don't know. I just don't feel like at any point you should stop trying to be more you. For me, it's not as easy, I guess. Just be like, this is exactly who I am every day of the week. I'm always changing, and I feel like that's a very healthy place for me to be. So,
I want to tap into the performances. What has been your best performance so far, or the most important throughout your career?
um, hmm, most important performance. Probably my last one, just because I've never felt more comfortable on stage singing and in my element. Well, singing. I'm always comfortable on stage. Like that's my shit, like I said before. But I think the last one that I just did at a simple bar in Hollywood, West Hollywood area, I just felt very in tune with myself and in tune with my music. So yeah.
It's obvious just from listening to your music that you're going to go far in this game and it's the music world as a whole. What do you think is the key to longevity for yourself in this game and trying to seek out and staying in for the long ride?
I think the key to longevity, especially in this industry, is not to get discouraged, especially for newer artists or artists that are not super huge. I think the key is to just not get discouraged, because there's so many times you can see other people surpassing you. They're like, damn, they just made one good song and now they're super famous. Or like they're TikTok famous and now they're super famous. But I think if I just keep going and stay on my path, keep making good music, keep meeting good people, keep making those connections, I feel like I'll be on a good path.
Now, what are your goals that you feel as though that people would, if they heard this, oh, they're unattainable, but when you look at these celebrities that do make it in the industry, it isn't, because you mentioned that with the whole dancing thing that you've been as a classically
Right.
trained dancer before for so many years. What are those goals that you're trying to reach? Is it something that you could look into even getting in movies or doing live shows like on like for Broadway or something, or even doing something with Disney? What are those goals out there that you think they just reach for the stars?
Honestly, that I was gonna just say that, like
Yeah,
to reach for the stars. I actually just did something with dance. I just danced for a Disney Marvel kind of performance. So anything
that's
that has to
big.
do with
Congrats on that.
entertainment, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you. It was really fun. But anything that has to do with entertainment or performing, I'm all about it. Of course, at some point I want to, get into the acting and the movies and like I said, at heart, I'm a performer. So if I can turn it on in front of a camera, I'll do it. I'm all game. I gotta just take one step at a time. I've done the dance thing, still doing it, and now to add on music, I gotta get super comfortable and super on my feet with that before I go on to something else.
exactly. And just continue to reach for the stars. What do you have lined up
hmm
here for the fall now that we're officially underway here in the October, November? What can we expect next from you, especially your fans?
Yeah, you can expect to see me in a lot of interviews. Expect to see a lot of content for my new song Penny Pension because it yeah, it came out last week, but it's gonna be new until the next one comes out. So you're gonna see a lot of that. You'll see me working in the studio a lot. I'll be on my grind, still dancing, still doing all of that. So if you want to keep seeing what I'm doing, just give me a follow.
That's right. And let them know where they can follow you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the platforms.
So on all the platforms, you can find me at underscore Day Madison, DayNamadison.
And there you have
Yeah.
it. Dana, anything else you want to let the audience know that we didn't cover here today?
Um, let me leave you guys with a message. I think I mentioned it before, but to always be true to yourself and stay authentic, no matter what life throws at you or people try to sway you from this way or the next. Just stay on your path, and you know who you are. So just stay true to
Exactly. That's an important message right there. Dana, I want to thank you
that.
for coming on the show. Shout out to your manager, Andre Ryder, of course, and even L Nice for getting this all set up. I appreciate it. I have Penny Pinching in the rotation on my station. Keep going. You're always welcome anytime you want to come on the show. So
Absolutely, I'll be back.
I appreciate it. All right, Dana. Take care. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.